It's no longer acceptable in mixed company, meaning bipartisan company, to use the goddamn word climate. It's not acceptable. They have polluted this to the point where we cannot possibly come to an agreement on it because of this organized activity. They pay pseudoscientists to pretend to be scientists, to put out the message, this climate thing, it's nonsense. Man-made CO2 doesn't trap heat. It's not. It may be volcanoes. Bullshit. It may be sunspots. Bullshit. It's not getting warmer. Bullshit. And there are about 10 other memes that are out there, and when you go and talk to any audience about climate, you hear them washing back at you the same crap over and over and over again. They have polluted the there's no longer a shared reality on an issue like climate, even though the very existence of our civilization is threatened. People have no idea.
And why the media let Shorten get away with a stunt. I'm Andrew Bolt, and this is the Bolt Report. Great news this week, although some journalists hid it. The Great Global Warming Scare campaign has failed. Australians aren't that stupid. They can't be fooled for long. And as of now, most no longer believe the warming scare that Al Gore unleashed with his film, An Inconvenient Truth, in 2006.
The Arctic is experiencing faster melting. If this were to go, sea level worldwide would go up 20 feet. This is what would happen in Florida. Around Shanghai, home to 40 million people. The area around Calcutta, 60 million. Here's Manhattan. The World Trade Center Memorial would be underwater. Think of the impact of a couple 100,000 refugees, and then imagine 100 million.
The scaremongering that followed was a scandal, pushed by a media that swallowed the most preposterous claims.
Even the rain that falls isn't actually going to fill our dams and our river systems.
If temperatures soar by 6 degrees within less than a century, that we're going to face nothing less than a global wipeout.
But this city itself could be dying from the effects of global warming. Imagine a city that could look like this just one generation from now. A near-permanent state of drought, a dramatic rise in bushfires, tsunami-like tidal surges, heat-related deaths soaring. It's a doomsday scenario.
Life as usual is not going to be here for much longer.
Politicians should have protected us from this ridiculous scaring of people. Instead, they pushed it.
I will not lead a party that is not as committed to effective action on climate change as I am.
Climate change is the great moral challenge of our generation.
I genuinely do believe that climate change is real. It's going to cause, more droughts, more bushfires, more extreme weather events. It's going to affect the barrier reef. It's going to affect food production.
But even with all that propaganda, the alarmists have failed. This week on Melbourne Cup Day, the CSIRO quietly snuck out this report on a massive survey last year of 5,000 Australians asking what they thought of global warming. The findings are incredible. For the first time in years, the Australians who believe humans are heating the world dangerously are outnumbered by Australians who don't. We have more sceptics now than believers. Here are the figures. Nearly 46% of Australians say they believe humans are mostly to blame for the warming we've seen, but they're outnumbered by the nearly 39% who say the warming is natural, plus the 8% who think there's actually been no warming, at least lately. The sceptics are in the majority, particularly when you add those who don't have an opinion. Even 1 in 5 Greens voters are now sceptics. 1 in 5. They say the global warming is either not man-made or not happening. These are huge results. They show the media has failed. Its non-stop message of a man-made global warming doom is no longer believed by most of us. In fact, the media could not be trusted even in reporting this survey. The ABC implied most Australians were still buying the scare.
A 5-year study of Australians' views on climate change has found 78% believe it is happening.
But no wonder the scaremongers are no longer believed. As I keep showing you, there has been no real warming of the atmosphere for around 18 years now. And there have been, if anything, fewer cyclones, especially in Australia. Crops have increased worldwide, people live longer, there's been no Armageddon. Roy Spencer is one of the world's top climate scientists. He runs one of the main centres measuring the world's temperature.
For the last 25 years, we've been monitoring global temperatures with satellites. We haven't seen any warming in the last about 18 years. About half of the warming we've seen since the 1950s has been natural rather than man-made. What you end up with is that global warming ends up not being nearly the problem that scientists thought it was going to be.
But most of you worked that out for yourselves. You chose facts above fear. Congratulations.